Okay, well, welcome, welcome. So glad that you are here, whether you're part of our year in review live event or you watch the replay or you don't even know what that is. This is bonus number 1, which is this webinar. So on Monday, we pushed pause to stop and look back at the past year, right? And the more people I've talked to this week, the more they're like, oh my goodness, that's genius. Because so often we just push right into the next year, right? We're not really paying attention. We're just kind of trying to get out of where we are right now because nobody and not a lot of people have really loved, what this year may have held for them, and then just get on with it. But there are a lot of lessons. There are a lot of things that, that will help us to have more intention as we head into the new year. So I encourage you, if you've not listened to the replay yet, to go back and check the email that has the replay for that. And we did a really great exercise in there to help you push pause and ask some questions. And I know some people have said, I've asked those questions before, but I haven't actually written those down. So get that down in writing. There is a power in doing that. So this is bonus number 1, which is going to be this webinar, and I'll introduce Maureen in just a minute. But while I have you, bonus number 2 is going to be our SMART goals review. And that's going to be on Monday, December 27th. So after Christmas is over and we're starting to think about the new year and what is it that we want to set our intention for and how can we create those SMART goals that we talked about on the year in review. So let me just give a quick rundown. If you didn't watch that, SMART stands for specific, measurable, accountable, realistic, and time-based. Okay. If goals are not written down in that format, chances are they're not going to happen. They're way too vague. Okay. So make sure that you're working on them. Bring any or all goals that you've worked on. This is going to be a working workshop where we're going to help each other really look at our goals and see if they fit in the SMART format. And then we're going to commit to this next year. And I've also put out there an invitation to my inner circle. So that's going to be a group of us who are going to be intentional about not only setting these goals, but now we're going to use a tool to keep us on task, to keep us accountable, to keep us moving forward, and to really reaching, taking steps towards those goals in the next year. So this is how all this ties together. So why are we talking about legal stuff today then? Because I'm not a legal person. But here's the thing. I was having this conversation with Maureen and I thought to myself, okay, so I'm helping these women. A lot of you are business owners. You don't have to be a business owner to be on this webinar. So if you're not, stick around. This is still for you. But we're building these lives, we're building these lifestyles, we're building these dreams, we're building these businesses, right? And we don't want our castle that we're building to come crumbling down because of some little glitch that we didn't realize was a legal issue. So I am right here, pen in hand, notes writing down, because these are things that Maureen and I have started working on, but I have a lot to learn. So I like to say you don't know what you don't know, but once you know, you can't unknow, right, Maureen? So now I've got this checklist that she's given me. So she is a great resource and she can help you, take a look at what you need to be doing to protect yourself and your business and give you a very specific checklist. I'm a checklist girl to start taking action on that. So Maureen, I'm going to turn it over to you. Help us to be legally savvy for 2022.
Awesome. Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm really, really excited. I love teaching this stuff because no one is really. No one is doing legal consulting, legal coaching. So putting my disclaimer out there, I'll teach you the importance of disclaimers. I'm not an attorney. Okay? This is for educational purposes only. I'll always redirect you to an attorney at certain points to get things legit, whether it's personal, that'll cover the importance of, or if you are a business owner, things that I will teach you, you get to do to have a legally savvy business, and all those things. So the way that I like to kind of explain the difference between what I do and what attorneys do, I actually was a health coach for years before COVID and God put this pivot in my life. But it's the difference between health coaching and kind of a doctor, right? So I would be able to do all the education, tools, resources for my clients, the hand-holding, the education, the support. And then at some point I would be like, okay, now you need to go see the endocrinologist. Here's how you can maximize your time there and save a lot of money. Here are the lab reports you need to bring. Here's what to ask, right? But it's still, we all fill our role. So a little bit about me first. So I actually worked in corporate for 12 years. My brain's always been really research oriented, scientific, analytical. So I did astrophysics and geology for NASA and EPA for 12 years. And I had all of these bizarre health issues pop up. And so I just really collected all these degrees and certifications and gut health and functional nutrition and peak performance, really just to heal my own body. I used my own body as a petri dish basically for like 12 years, tried everything, vegan, carnivore, paleo, whatever, and really just wanted it because the doctors were just like, oh, just take these pills. You know, I had 3 different autoimmune diseases and all that stuff. So I was like the go-to person in corporate and with my friends and family. And they were just like, okay, you should really be doing this. You're so passionate about it, create a business. And I'm like, yeah, no, I can fix people when they're in front of me. I have zero clue how to run a business, right? Entrepreneurship really scared me because I loved the safety of knowing exactly how much money I was going to make every other week. I could color code it in my Excel spreadsheet, my little budget. I wasn't excited about my career, but it was still like safe. And so entrepreneurship just felt very scary, even though I really wanted it. So I stepped out into entrepreneurship and I hired a bunch of different business coaches and really learned how to run a business and got good direction on marketing. And I had like a 6-figure coaching business that I really loved. And I used to travel keynote speaking, and then that got shut down. And then this whole legal thing kind of came to fruition. And then I started really understanding, like I started stalking these attorneys online, and I don't even really remember how it happened, but I signed up for their newsletters, and they were attorneys who had left corporate and they were catering towards the coaches and solopreneurs. And they were like, did you know you need this? Did you know you need a privacy policy? Did you know contracts? And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't. Tell me more. And they were selling all of these bundles for thousands of dollars, you know, and then by the way, click here to book our Calendly link for $500 an hour for review. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I thought, wow, I had over 300 clients sign my one-on-one contracts when I was a health coach that I never had an attorney review because I never wanted to pay $500 an hour. I am an affiliate now with a company called Legal Shield, which I love and I'm obsessed with, because for pennies on the dollar, you get unlimited access to attorneys, personal and business. So I had my Legal Shield business, which is how it started in the beginning with COVID, but then I really fell in love with the value proposition of what they were offering. And that's when I started stalking all these attorneys. So I was like, thank you, I'm going to take all your business away from you because all these templates are available for free online. So I started finding all these resources and I was like, wow, they are really just like, and you know, they're powerful women creating a business, but I had a really hard time, like morally, with the fact that they're charging $2,000 for the retreat bundle or the website bundle when you can go to wonder.legal. I'll share that with you guys. And all of these templates are available for free. You just drag and drop and you plug and play, export as a Word document or PDF, and then you can have an attorney review it. So you're not having to spend money having an attorney custom review these things. You're not having to spend thousands of dollars buying these templates. If you happen to live in the US and Canada and have Legal Shield, you know, you can have them review these contracts and not have to pay $500 an hour. So I really just felt passionate to go back into all the communities because I realized no one ever taught us about the legal. I invested over 6 figures in growing my coaching business and they didn't know. No one talked about you need these things on your website. No one talked about the importance of contracts. If you're doing an event or retreat, media release forms, testimonial releases. So I did my little research science nerd junkie stuff that I love doing. And I had vision to found Get Legally Savvy, which is the consulting business I have now. And my mission is to help tens of thousands of solopreneurs, coaches, especially women. My hashtag is protect your empire. And that includes personal too. So it's like, we have this vision, we have these gifts, you know, to go out and to build and to impact our community. But if we're not doing these basic, simple things that we don't necessarily know we need to do to protect it, I don't want anything bad to happen. So your vision's important, right? And so my whole goal today is that by the end of this webinar, this presentation, you understand basic things you can start doing for your personal, for your identity, and for your business to protect your empire. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Am I able to share my screen? I am. Awesome. So I'm going to first go through. Oh, I thought I had that. I thought I was so proud of myself. I thought I had this all set up. 1 second. Okay. And this is this. And if you want, if you're on right now, you can drop your email in the chat. And if you're watching the replay, Also will probably give ways for you to get in touch with me. And then I'm happy to email you this checklist that you can have available. Here we go. All right, so this is, so no right, wrong, good or bad, but I just would love all of you to look at this right now. Personal protection. This is really important. These are some, oh, this is an old one. Excuse the typo here. This is the same thing 3 times. I had the other one up, I thought. But this is the most important thing. And I will be the first to admit I did not have a will done. You know, wills are $1,500 to $2,000 to get done. With a Legal Shield membership for $30 a month, it's included, updated annually, all that stuff. You can share information about how to sign up for that. But either way, if you'd never had a will done, even if you're single, I thought, oh gosh, I'm single, I just have cats, whatever, not a big deal. But I still have a business, I have assets, you know, and if I were to pass away, if something were to happen to me, I just assumed, oh, it's automatically going to go to my dad, my sister, whatever. I didn't understand anything about probate in courts, where courts will actually, depending on the state, keep anywhere from 40 to 80% of your assets to pay for their time as they determine how to delegate your net worth, your assets, and all that stuff, especially if you have kids. You know, you need to figure out who you are going to trust with raising your children. And I've spoken to a lot of women, especially in Las Vegas. I've done a lot of these legally savvy audits. And, you know, we go through all this stuff. I do 60 minutes with them and kind of go through what they need to do now and where they get to go in the next year. They'll be like, oh yeah, I have a will. Okay, how old is it? 10 years old. How many kids do you have? 4. How old are your kids? 10, 7, 8, and 4. I'm like, okay, so kids 2 through 4 are not on the will, right? So it's like time to get it updated, or I just updated mine. I got mine done when I first got Legal Shield a year and a half ago in California, but I just moved to Florida 2 months ago. So I had to redo mine, had to update it because now I live in a different state. So it's a good idea to not only have one, but make sure that after any major life event, if you get married, divorced, start a business, buy a home, have another child, move states, you really need to get it updated. And so a good annual update, a review of a trust, a living will is really important. Also healthcare power of attorney. You know, I didn't think about like an advanced directive or, you know, kind of what do I want to have happen, you know, DNR. And I just had I went under general anesthesia earlier this year to get a cervical epidural in my spine from a car accident. And they had asked me, the nurses were like, do you have a, you know, advanced directive or healthcare power of attorney? And I'm like, I do not, you know, just things we don't really think about, you know, we always want to think nothing bad happens and pray to God that it doesn't, but at least I have all these things set up now, you know. So on Monday, I called the attorney office. I got a healthcare power of attorney set up. So now I have one because I got to think about, okay, if I didn't wake up from general anesthesia, what would I have wanted to have happen? Do I want to be on life support? Not, you know, so I got to go through that process. Now I'm done. So those are things too. And then normally on the right side of the column, the checklist you guys will get is just like, you never have to sign anything anymore that you don't understand. You know, when you have a law firm on retainer, even if you're just buying a car, you have rental property, all this stuff. Think about all the times we just sign documents that we've never fully read or understood. You know, imagine now having that feeling of being empowered and like being able to have an attorney review this stuff and like explain the legalese part, you know, and from personal experience. So I was renting office space when I was living in California to run my health coaching business, and I signed a lease. I didn't really read it. I just kind of did through. It was like 20 pages of just like fine print, whatever. I'm like, yeah, I get it. I'm paying $700 a month for this, whatever, signed it. So once I decided I didn't want to be in the office space anymore and I wanted to use that money to invest in my business elsewhere, I did what I just assumed because of all the apartments I had rented, where it's like, okay, written 30 days notice, right? So 30 days came up. I walked into the office. I said, I'm giving notice. And they said, did you read your lease? And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, it's 60 days written notice here. And if you don't give us 60 days written notice, it's automatically looping you in to another agreement, the length of the original agreement, not even month to month. So I got stuck with an office I didn't want to pay for, and I didn't even use for another 6 months at $700 a month. So that was an expensive lesson for me to learn, right? So these are the things that I just kind of want you guys to be aware of, that as women, we can really like have someone else walk us through things and explain them. So I don't want you guys ever signing anything without fully reading it or understanding it anymore. And then also credit, credit score, credit repair. Maybe your credit's not the best, totally fine. Legal Shield and ID Shield does offer, it's one of the reasons I love it so much, credit counseling, credit repair. They'll write letters to the bureaus and go through ways that you can build your credit back up. But it's really important to not only understand how to build your credit back up, or maybe you have excellent credit. It's really important that you're monitoring it. We think about our whole digital DNA right now and our whole online identity and just kind of space, especially since COVID, the hackers and online space is just like, it's a playground for them right now. So not only do you want to have your credit monitored, like a lot of people have, like I have USAA and I have credit cards, that part of it includes monitoring like one bureau, but you want to have all 3 bureaus monitored. And then also you want to have a password management system. I love LastPass. I was using it. I'm migrating over to ID Shield. There's password management. Also, especially if a lot of you guys travel a lot or business owners. I know when I worked for corporate, we had a VPN in our computers, but a virtual private network is really important to have, because anytime that you're even at like a Starbucks, or you're traveling, or airport, hotel, where you're on an unsecured network, I always knew that it was risky and I didn't really understand why, but you're basically exposing everything on your computer that is saved. Hackers can get in on open networks, and they can virtually access your computer. So those are just other things to think about. Are you monitoring your credit? Are you monitoring your passwords, in your accounts? Are you making sure that you are surfing the internet securely when you're not at home? Social media account protection. This is really important. My Instagram was actually hacked by people in Nigeria, and they were pretending to be me and posting on my Instagram. They locked me out. They changed my email, my path. I still have not recovered my Instagram account. I had to build a new one, which was totally like fine with me, because my Instagram was a nightmare. And I thought I really need to have like a social media profile that's actually branded on what I'm doing now, because it was like, hi, I'm vegan, I'm carnivore, I'm traveling the world, I'm a health coach, I'm legal. Like people were just probably like, I don't even know what you're doing. So I was unattached to the content, but what really bothered me was the fact that at least 7 of my friends I know so far sent these people money, because they were pretending to be me, engaging with everyone. And they started posting pictures of a new home and a new car, saying that I had started making all this money Bitcoin mining. And they had somehow photoshopped my picture onto a Cash App and pretended to be me giving like a holiday giveaway, saying, hey, just Cash App me and you'll be the winner. And so some of my friends had the gut check and called me before they Cash Apped anything, was like, is this you? And I'm like, no, I've been locked out for 3 days now. Do not give these people money. So that's really what breaks my heart, is the fact that luckily I didn't have like 60,000 Instagram followers, whatever, for my business. That would have probably hit me at another level. But I was just really upset that I didn't do what I could have done to protect my social media profiles. And now people that know, like, and trust me paid the price financially, so just things to be aware of. ID Shield also does online reputation management. So if you've never want to use one of those softwares before, it's actually kind of cool. I went through and I did it a few months ago, and you can link Facebook, Twitter, things like that, and I'll actually go through. So it went back about 10 years and had actually flagged some comments that I made, or pictures of me in a bikini, maybe with a cocktail, or, dropping a couple F-bombs before I became Christian. And I'm so far removed from that version of myself now. And it's interesting that it still showed up. So you think about, especially if you are a business owner, maybe not, maybe you're just a woman who's really involved in her community, or you're a mom now, you're a different phase of your life. And because of social media and online, there's still some things maybe that, are just not really in alignment with kind of the image of who you really want to show up in the world now. And how cool that it tagged all these things where I could actually go back and like delete. And so that's really cool. Another thing you also want to consider linking is, credit cards, email accounts, just monitoring, dark web monitoring. That's really a thing. You can find out if your information is being sold on the dark web. I've heard stories about people even losing the deeds to their home because people on the dark web are able to access certain files and Photoshop them and submit them and stuff like that. And then the part that I'm the most excited about. So for those of you that are business owners, this is what started the whole vision and mission of Legally Savvy. So if you have a website, I would love to know, put it in the chat. And now go on your website, and I want to know if you have a privacy policy at the bottom. And if it says privacy policy, don't assume that there's anything there. Sometimes it's just a placeholder from the website builders. Click on it and actually see if anything happens. If you don't have anything, don't freak out. I have free templates that I can email you guys. So again, just drop your email in the chat. I'll email you these templates. But one of the things I learned was that you have to have a privacy policy on the bottom of your website, of a landing page, of an opt-in page, of anything that someone can interact with. And if you don't have one, it's actually finable by $2,500, not just one time, but by every single person that enters information or clicks on your website. And so when I found this out and I was like, no one ever taught us this. I did a summit. I had 3,000 people opt into my summit that I did, the Health Reboot series 4 years ago when I was growing my health coaching business. And I think what we always do is we just assume, right? We assume the professionals we're hiring know these things. You assume the website developer knows these things. Most don't. You assume the business coach knows these things. They don't. You assume that the VA knows to put it on the opt-in page. I know for sure all the landing pages and lead pages and everything that I built didn't have this stuff, right? So it's a simple fix. And again, there's not like a privacy policy police floating around checking everyone's websites out there. So the likelihood of you getting caught is probably slim to none. But what has happened that I've heard is, let's say you were targeted by an angry client or something, like your business is now on their radar and they were to see it, it's just another way that they can nail you with a ton of fines that would probably just financially devastate you and put you out of business. So these little simple, free things that we could do upfront in the beginning are just another way that we can make sure you're totally legit, you're being legally savvy, and you're protecting your empire. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing this screen and I'm going to go into my other presentation slide deck that I do for the businesses. Okay, great. So disclaimers again. So this is really the framework of Legally Savvy. So it's these 4 steps, right? So it's education. I'm really here to support you guys in knowing what you need to know that you don't even know you need to know, right? Tools. Where can you access free templates, contracts, things like that? So you're not having to spend an arm and a leg on these things that are readily available. Law firm, right? I'm not an attorney and we really get to work with attorneys. I avoided it because I didn't know something like Legal Shield existed. Unfortunately, they're only in US and Canada. So if you're watching this and you live outside, I'm unattached to where you access the law firm. Some of you might be married to an attorney, great. But we can't avoid this stuff. I think we avoid it because it feels heavy or maybe it's not cost effective, but you still need to have an attorney review certain things for your business to make sure they're ironclad for your business so you don't get into trouble. And then ongoing support, right? That's why you guys are here now with this. It's like we all love that community, support, education, so that's really important. So again, I already kind of talked about websites. This is what you guys want to make sure you have on your websites, these 3 things. The privacy policy is legally required. Terms and conditions and disclaimers are not, but they're highly recommended. So disclaimers, think about all those obnoxious pharmaceutical commercials that you used to before Hulu and Zoom, where we kind of avoid a lot of them now, where it's like at the end, they just rattle off like may cause instant sudden death and stroke and heart failure and whatever, right? Those are their disclaimers. They want to make sure that, they can't be sued should anything adverse to what they're advertising happens. So for those of us that are in the coaches space, Maybe you're a spiritual healer or a financial coach or a business coach or a health coach like I was. You want to make sure, just like I gave my disclaimer in the beginning, that at the bottom of your website, there is something, some legal wording that just says, hey, this is for educational purposes only. Maybe you guys are putting out vlogs or blogs and you're saying, follow this system and, you could generate 10,000 a month, or, sleep 8 hours a night to reduce anxiety, whatever it is. You want to make sure that they can't come back and sue you and say, hey, I only made $4,000 following your stupid funnel and you said I was going to make 10,000. I mean, people are crazy. We always want to operate from a space of like trust, especially as women business owners, but it's really important that you just with basic things can protect yourself from the unknown. Contracts. So the most common contract, right, with most of us with coaching businesses or things like that, we think of one-on-one. A lot of us do one-on-one or maybe group. And so don't be that person that puts something together on your own like I did and doesn't have an attorney review it. It's great if you already have something that you piecemealed together on your own. That's part A, right? If you don't, I can email you templates and then have an attorney review it. But definitely don't just take payments on swipe and then just start coaching people. So what goes into a contract, whether it's one-on-one, group, there's all the legalese stuff on the right, which is really important. And also, but this is where you can have fun with it too. You get to really map out, like, what are they paying for? Is it a 3-month program? Is it a 6-month program? Do you offer a refund policy? A payment plan? Do they get one coaching session a week with you and then unlimited email access or Voxer access? Like, this is where you really get to have fun customizing the template, with what makes your program special and unique. And the other great thing too is that, with contracts, there's clear boundaries. You really know what you're offering them and they know what they're paying for. I can't tell you how many times I dropped 5-10 grand, PayPal'd someone, Venmo'd someone that was going to create a funnel. And I'm like, I don't even really know what I just paid them for. I don't really even know enough about this. I know there's going to be some sort of deliverables at some point or whatever, but it's like, and I think about going back, like how much safer I would have felt if there was some sort of contract on the consumer end that I had signed where I really understood, oh, okay, I paid $10,000 to the copywriter to do X, Y, Z at this time, and really understood what I was getting. And so it gives you peace of mind. Also too, it's professional appearance too. Think about how the contracts that you've ever signed, like you probably felt safe, like, wow, this person like really knows what they're doing. They have a professional contract and brand, like they must take their business seriously. So think about the peace of mind that you're also offering your clients that might hire you when you have a contract that you guys can both sign. Without contracts, right, you risk loss of sales, because if you have someone that stops paying you, you have no ability to go back legally and collect on that. There's confusion, unclear boundaries. You're really exposing yourself to liabilities. You also want to have disclaimers in your contracts as well about it being educated. You're not guaranteeing results, right? You're just a coach, and things like that. And then there's also different types of contracts too. So think about maybe where you want to go in 2022. Maybe you want to have a virtual event, a summit, a retreat, an in-person retreat. You're probably going to want to have things like media release forms that they can sign. So you can take pictures and videography and use that content to market. Probably not a bad idea to have a COVID waiver signed these days. Little things like that. If you're probably going to be hiring vendors and photographers and caterers, or contracts that you may want to give a hotel if you're renting out space or vice versa. All sorts of things. Digital courses. Think about how many times you've ever bought any digital content or membership sites. Before you go to checkout, if the business knows what they're doing, there's usually a little checkbox there that you click and says, I acknowledge, right? That is a digital signature that you are doing. You probably never clicked on the hyperlink. It's either a terms of service, terms of purchase, or terms of use. Those are all interchangeable. And that's actually acting as a bulk one-on-one contract. And it has all the same types of things in there. Like, do you have lifetime access to the content? It's protecting their copyrighted material. It's talking about the disclaimers. It's talking about refund policy. So feel free to reach out to me if any of you guys plan on doing a membership site, anything like that. I have templates you can use as well that you can pop up before they check out in the cart. So you are protected in that sense. And then also speaking. If you're going to be speaking, even if it's on a summit or you're hosting a summit, or maybe you want to speak on stages, you want to have an attorney review the contracts before you're signing, because do you have the right? Like if they give you a audio clip or a video clip, do you own that content? Do you have the right to repurpose it? And vice versa. And joint ventures or partnerships, maybe you're going to collaborate with some other coaches on events or retreats or a joint program. So, and even hiring support, hiring a VA, things like that. You want to have contracts in place for all that stuff too. And then the last thing that I'll mention really quickly, and then I'll open it up for Q&A, is trademarking. So trademarking is really important because you want to own your brand, right? So I'm in the process right now of trademarking Get Legally Savvy. Because I love it and I'm super attached to it, and I'd be really upset if I couldn't use that name anymore. So one of the trademarking attorneys I spoke to said, it's time to trademark something. He calls it the gut punch test. Like if you were to feel like your soul just like, got a knife in it, or you just got punched in the gut, if someone gave you a cease and desist on your brand, that's how you want to trademark it. And so it's a great idea to speak to a trademarking attorney, whether you already have a brand or you're in the creation of it, because you want to do a search first. And I can support you with this. We can do a basic trademark word search to see if there's something similar out there that already exists. So that's what I did. Now that I am legally savvy and I know these things, before I really started building a brand around the name, I went and I made sure nothing similar existed, because what you don't want to do is build a brand 2-3 years down the road, come to find out someone has something very similar trademarked, and then get a cease and desist. It happened to one of my best friends last year. Her name's Jen, and she's a content creator. And so she did what most of us do. We think just because we can buy the domain name that it's available to use. So she owned thecontentcode.com, had an Instagram following of about 90,000, had her digital course, The Content Code, her coaching program, and all this stuff, and built it for 4 years. And then last summer I was at her house and she got a call from a woman and said, "I'm so sorry to do this to you. You probably don't know, about 7 years ago, I wrote a book called The Content Code. I own a trademark and a copyright on it. I'm going to have to ask you to cease and desist." So the whole first 4 months of this year, she had to redo everything. And you can imagine, she's a content creator, how much content she pumped out with the content code on it. So she couldn't use any of that anymore. So she had to completely redesign her branding, her Instagram portfolio, her digital course, everything. I think now it's called Profit Performance Mastery, which that's another conversation. I don't even fully understand what that means, but she likes it and it was available and she's trademarking that, right? And so she rebranded. So things like that to just be aware of, basic things to do in the beginning so that you're not dealing with a big headache later on down the line as you grow your empire. So that is it basically. I know I threw a lot of information at you guys: personal, identity, online, business. I really hope that this was valuable and supportive and you learned some basic things that I can support you implementing right away. Hopefully legal feels not as overwhelming and we made it a little bit more fun. So yeah, I would love to know. I know there's a few of you on here. Feel free to come on camera, unmute yourself, ask any questions that you may have. I would love to support.
So I have a question of something that I don't remember you and I talking about before, was the social media account protection. Is that through Legal Shield as well?
Yeah, and you have that ID Shield.
Yeah, I need to get in and see what all I have. So, okay.
Yeah, so if you log in there, if you go to idshield.cloud or cloud.idshield.com and you log into you set up your profile, that's where you can do the reputation management, link all your social media platforms. So you and I can always hop on and and I can do a video too, because I'm building out the portal. So you'll have access to Legally Savvy back office. That's why I'm launching that in January. So everyone I do a Legally Savvy audit for and that has the Legal Shield and ID Shield memberships, I'm creating that free get legally savvy. I think I love feedback. I don't know whether to call it Legally Savvy Office or Legally Savvy Works, but I'm building out that like free membership portal now too. So there'll be all these videos like Legally Savvy websites, the library of contracts and documents, and little videos on how to use the services if you have them, or other things you can do to trademark and whatever. So
I love that, because how often have we gotten a service or we purchased something and then it just sits in our inbox, or it sits somewhere, we forget we have it because we don't know what to do with it. We don't know how to use it. So I love that you're creating that behind it. Fantastic.
yeah, because like I have my Legal Shield business over here and then my consulting business over here, but there's such synergy between the two. So it's kind of, I was like, how can I support all my members that have the services, and then everyone I do the audits for in the consulting business? And I was like, it's just going to be one hub, Legally Savvy Works, our office, and resources and tools. And especially too, like I'd love to get to know what you guys do better too, because one of my intentions, you know, I love the collaboration and supporting female business owners. I just want to expand my Rolodex. So I want to have a section in there too that's just like Legally Savvy's favorite resources. So if someone comes to me and I'm doing an audit with them, and I know they maybe need a CPA or someone else or something that I'm not an affiliate for, I still can like build out, oh, okay, I think that this would really support you. You should go talk to this person. Or, you know, I think that that's just a really cool way that we can all continue to, you know, support each other with our strengths, you know, as we go out and serve others.
Love that. What questions do you guys have while we're here? And you've got Maureen to answer some questions. Or maybe what stood out to you? What did you hear today that you're like, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't think about that. Or maybe you did know that, but you just haven't taken action on it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that question. Hi, Nikki.
Hi, I have a question for you. And
Yeah.
Lisa knows about this. I am looking to open a cat cafe. I don't know if you're familiar with cat cafes. It's like Starbucks with kitty cats.
And I have 2 kitties, so I'm already enthralled. Tell me more.
Basically what it is it's a building that's divided in half. Part of it is a cafe and the other part is a room where the cats live. They are there to be adopted. People come in, they spend time, they pay money to come, they make a reservation, come and spend time to help socialize and get the cats ready to be adopted, or they can adopt. They can bring their coffee, drinks, or whatever in the room where the kitty cats are. We would partner with either a local rescue or the animal shelter or something like that. They would provide the kitty cats and we would provide the people to come in and, you know, do the socialization part. But we would have classes like yoga with cats, painting class, story hour, birthday parties, that sort of thing. They're becoming very popular. They actually originated in Asia. I've been to probably 10 different ones, getting ideas and such. I know there's a lot of this legal stuff that'll have to go into that, like people to make the online reservation, there has to be like something that they sign that, you know, they're not going to sue us if the cat scratches them or so on and so forth. And a release type deal. So is that something that this would be helpful for?
Yeah, 100%. So a lot of my presentations, I cater towards the coach, the solopreneur, right? But Legal Shield actually has small business plans that support brick and mortar.
Okay.
Our employees. And so I would love to, I'm more than happy to hop on a Zoom with you or a call and kind of share with you some resources available more specific to your needs. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. We'll want to make sure that the cat cafe is legally savvy and all the things. And so, yeah, I can definitely support you. And I think that, I mean, the reason I love Legal Shield and ID Shield so much is that I genuinely believe unless you are a business owner that is big enough to have in-house counsel on retainer.
Right. And I'm familiar with Legal Shield. Right. When I was in Florida, I had run into some people who had it. So
yeah, so I'll show you the suite of small business plans that are available for people with EIN numbers.
Okay.
You know, so that opens up a whole different category of options for brick and mortar, for businesses with W-2 employees and things like that. So unless you're big enough to have in-house counsel on retainer, there's a solution through Legal Shield.
Yeah, and I want to try and set it up as a nonprofit. So.
Okay, great. Yeah, let's I'll put my number in the chat.
Okay. Yeah, I sent you my email too.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll copy it. Perfect.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, wonderful. Great. I love that. I've never heard of a cat cafe. That's such a cute.
You'll have to come to Illinois so you can check it out.
Right. I'll come for that. I want to be there for the ribbon cutting.
Right.
We want to call it Positively Scrumptious.
So cute.
Love it. Cool. Yeah.
Anybody else have a question? Just so you know, background on people, Maureen. Kathy is a health coach. She might be at work right now because she is a nurse as well, but she is a health coach, has a health coach business, and she also has a network marketing business on top of that. And Barbara has stepped out into doing consulting for seniors and helping, you know, the aging to get the resources that they need and that type of thing. And Caroline she's kind of working on media stuff, has a network marketing business, coaching. She kind of does a lot of different things. She and I worked together on a book project recently, and I know she has podcasting and some other things like that. So she's, building a really cool brand as well.
I love that.
Well, I don't have a question, but I did learn. So thank you. And I sent you a private message just to say if you would like to come on my podcast. It's a podcast about empowering women. So I think,
love that.
You know, I thought I knew a lot about legal, but you mentioned little things that I'm like, gosh, I didn't do this. So yeah, your checklist is very exhaustive, and it's a good one.
Thank you.
We always think we have it all figured out until we don't.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And that's why my whole thing is like, you know, I mean, it was 5 years of coaching in this, and there's just some simple things, because it was always like, attorney, and like, I get it. Oh, I have a contract, it's fine, whatever. But I didn't know about any of the other, and I don't even really know how it happened. It's totally a God thing, because I was like, I don't know what inspired me or where I even found these attorneys who left corporate to cater towards female business owners and just sign up for their newsletters and just start stalking them and just go into research nerd mode. But I was like, what? You need a what? And then I was like, why is no one teaching this? And I was like, well, we don't know. Right? You think about that little circle.
There's no specific school for entrepreneurs that they say, if you want to start a business, go there. And a lot of people don't necessarily start. We all do it intentionally at some point, but sometimes you just end up like on the path of starting something and you miss like a few steps in the process.
Yeah. You don't want to learn the hard way. It's like insurance for your car. You know, I just had to add insurance for our son's car, and I don't really want to pay that amount of money every month, but I would rather have it so that in the event that something does happen, we're not paying thousands of dollars. Right. And so I think with things like this, people are finding out the hard way because they're either in oblivion, like many of us, or they know and just aren't doing something about it. And then something happens. And again, you know, hopefully nothing's going to happen, but what if it does, you know, and how would that affect everything we've built and everything that we've been doing? And I think another thing, Maureen, I'd be curious about too, there are so many so many of us as entrepreneurs, as solopreneurs, as those of us who are coaching and whatever, like we work together with other people. And so like, what kinds of things do we need to think about and do if you're going to be in a partnership with someone, you know, like on a project, or you're doing a podcast together, or you're doing an event together, or you're, you know, like, what does that look like? So that you're protected just in case something happens, or, you know, or when that time is done. I think that is something we run.
There's several different types of contract templates that I can share with people, you know, if they want to hop on a call with me and explain that specific thing, because there are different types of like joint venture agreements that people can sign, or speaker agreements, or partnership agreements, you know, that, it's just, it's all about just getting on the same page verbally, and then also on paper. It's just like avoiding the game of telephone, you know, because when it's on paper and both people can see it and they're signing it, there's no room for in the future to say, well, I thought you said, and I thought you said, you know. It's just like simple. It's all there. It's like reading an instruction manual, you know. And then just to add on to kind of what you said about the preventative stuff. I mean, that's what I love about like the Legal Shield plans, is it's like you're paying for a monthly service that you're not binded to, by the way. You can cancel at any time. We want people to keep it because they love it, not because they have to. But I genuinely believe once you develop a relationship with the attorneys, you realize the value of it and you keep it. And I'm thinking like, I paid more money for my freaking CRM platform and for MailChimp than it's like in a law firm on retainers. So, and it's a business write-off. So when you think about, hey, there's these things immediately I can use them for contract review, but then it's one of those peace of mind things too, because the research that I've done, it's like those of us that avoid the legal in the beginning or don't know, by the time something legal does happen with our business, whether it's 2 years, 5 years, or 7 years down the road, it's generally a $5,000 to $10,000 issue that you're now slammed with. So even I think about when I was a health coach, right? There's so many of you guys that are coaches. It's like, what are we really in the business of doing? We are helping people, whether it's with mind, body, spirit, tools, resources, to live their best life and to be proactive and preventive versus reactive and defensive. So now we get to just be proactive and preventive with being legally savvy too, you know, with our finances, with our health, with our mind, with our family, with our faith, with our relationships, all the F's that you talk about, you know, because I love it. You know, so this is just another way I found that we can really empower each other to be those things with our personal life, with our assets, with our identity, and then with our businesses.
For sure. For sure. Well, thank you, Maureen, so much for sharing your expertise. So if someone wants to get in touch with you, say someone is listening to this, so they're maybe not seeing the chat. What is the best way for someone to get in touch with you, to be able to talk more? You've mentioned an audit that you do, which you have gone through. Tell us a little bit about that and just what are the benefits of that and what you have to do.
Absolutely. So the audit, and as a bonus for anyone that's on today, I would love to do a free audit for you guys.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, normally, so my company charges $222 right now for an audit, a legally savvy audit. And what that includes is it's 60 minutes on a Zoom. We go through everything, go through that checklist. Like, what do you have in place? What do you need to get in place? Whatever, connect you with resources. You get a PDF report, a Protect Your Empire blueprint, where I write everything. It's like a roadmap, kind of addressing everything we've exposed in the audit. You get all the contract templates, access to my legal library, so you're not spending money. You don't have to pay attorneys to custom draft everything. And then you get plugged into Legally Savvy Office or Works, that membership portal that I am building. You get lifetime access to that for free if you get the audit done. So you will have all the things you need to know to be legally savvy. And then in the future, ongoing support from my company. And yeah. So
well, thank you for that.
Sorry, my email is hello@getlegallysavvy.com. And so that's the best way. Just go ahead and email me. And
Just a minute.
Text 310-415-3458.
Okay, say that one more time, slow.
310-415-3458.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lisa, will there be a replay?
Yes, I'm recording this right now, and so I will email this out. So all of you who are here are already on that list from the event. So you will get this recording at some time today. I will try and get to it this afternoon before I have to leave to go to a meeting. But yeah, you guys will have this to be able to go back to, and I'll make sure that Maureen's contact information is attached therein as well, to make it easy for you.
Hey, one more thing. I know you were talking about legal things for medical. Dave Ramsey, one of the things that you can do, it's called Mama Bear. And they're all legal documents that you can go in and print out yourself and do your own will, and then have someone else review it. So if you know about that.
Yeah, which is very similar to what Maureen's doing, right? That we can go on with these free templates. And then the key is having someone review it to make sure that we're crossing, right, all our T's and dotting all our I's, because it's easy to skip over things.
Put a lid on it, baby.
Yeah.
Where's the lid?
Okay. All right.
Well, then we throw it away.
Everyone,
We don't put it in there without a lid.
today. I appreciate you, Maureen, for sharing with us today. I trust this has added value for you. And if you're listening to the replay, you know, we are here to support you. And I truly believe that when you do know, you can't unknow, but then you have to let other people know, right? You know, so all of us are connecting with other women who are entrepreneurs and coaches and network marketers and building, you know, these things. And so let's make sure that we are sharing this with them as well. So feel free to share this. I'm going to post this replay on YouTube. You'll get this emailed to you, but it's going to be a public, you know, link. So if you want to share this out to people that you know, You know, it could be something that could save them a lot of time and a lot of money in the future, right?
I forgot one more thing now that you said that. So part of what I'm doing is I'm building out my tribe of legally savvy brand ambassadors. And so part of what I want to do is for the audit, if you guys know someone that this would support, is I would love to give you a referral fee of $100 for every audit you send my way that I can support people. So if you want to be a legally savvy ambassador and send people my way and just make an extra couple $100, it's a win-win-win, and you get some legally savvy ambassador swag.
Ooh, very fun. I've got live repurpose swag coming. So
Making legal fun. See, yay.
How fun is that, right? Yeah, I love having like a mental Rolodex of when I talk to somebody, I'm like, oh my goodness, you need to talk to Maureen, you need to talk to Caroline, you need to talk to Kathy or Barbara or Nikki, you know, and just connecting people with the right resources. So, well, thank you everyone for being on today. So appreciate you taking the time. Thank you again, Maureen, for taking your time to build into us and to help us to protect what we're building. And so I'm excited over the next couple of weeks, we're working on our goals, right? You can just, you know, do as many as you want. What I'm personally working on is 3 goals for each of my 7 areas. And then I'm whittling that down to my top 7 because 21 is a lot to look at. So I'm going to whittle it down to the top 7 so that I really can take action on those in the new year. So we'll be back again on December 27th at 7 p.m. Central, same Zoom link as before. Bring your goals and we'll go through them together and really help refine them and then commit to them, right? Because it's one thing to say them, it's going to be another thing to do them. So thank you, everyone. You guys have a great rest of your day.